as the gap continues to narrow, while over at no side, as you saw, a lot of celebrations going on. But that's the scene at no side headquarters. But with these kind of numbers, it is going to be so close. Just fall over the 50-point mark for one side.
That Canada is still Canada. There are institutions, there are constitutional authorities. The Prime Minister is still the Prime Minister.
50-50.
We are stable. We are going to honor our financial commitments and obligations to the world and the investors. And that we're going to, because we're a civilized, decent, highly democratized country, find the appropriate solutions. I think we need to get the First Ministers together.
They changed sides. They had the no on the right before.
And given the current mood of the public, which I think is one which is much more charitable to constitutional and administrative change, I guess the big cheer shows that it's probably over 50 for the no.
Yeah, but still, you know as well as I do, it is just over 50% for the no, and it's starting to look like that may be the result coming in over in terms of the end of the evening, a small no victory. But when you say the message has to go out that we're stable vote numbers for the no side. Jason, your point?
I was going to say, Peter, it was brought up earlier that the Prime Minister at the beginning of the campaign, he said he wouldn't accept 50% plus 1. He said that wouldn't be enough to divide a country. And at the time, everybody thought that this was just an academic argument, that he was just putting this forward. But clearly, no one at the time, a month ago, could have ever imagined that we would be in a position where it's 50-50 at this point in the evening, with 60% of the polls having reported. Again, I go back to the House of Commons that day, I heard the Prime Minister say that, as did everybody, and at the time, it just seemed like an academic argument.
In terms of consequences, as Jason's pointing out, we're in for some very interesting speeches, obviously, later on this evening, but some unpredictable actions on the part of all the players in this debate in the days immediately following.
I can recall in 1980, René Lévesque's speech.
These rooms tonight, the no side headquarters, apparently feeling they're on the verge of victory tonight.
Quebecers, this would be the worst case scenario, the no side winning a very narrow victory with a vast majority of French-speaking Quebecers having voted yes. Tension, social tension, all these things are possible. In the past, cooler heads usually prevail. In 1980, certainly the next day, the day after the referendum, life went on in Quebec. It wasn't nearly as close as it is now. There will have to be a great deal of understanding and a great deal of reaching out to people to overcome what could be a lot of bitterness for many Quebecers on the yes side in this neighborhood.
It's incredible looking at these two pictures that we're seeing on the screen. The no side headquarters in apparent victory celebration, although as you can tell the numbers very tight, but the expectation that it's going to continue to sort of nod in no's favor. Low to mid-70s, which is still a very good number in terms of many other Western democracies in the United States south of the border. Rare that they get anywhere near 50% voting in a national election. Well, here in Quebec tonight, 92%. The last time I remember a country or a region voting over 90% was the first post-end of apartheid vote in South Africa, where almost everybody voted, and many obviously for the first time in their lives. But here tonight shows you a sense of how deeply held this decision was on the part of Quebecers. Over 92% turnout tonight. Let's go to Toronto, where a number of I saw the rush of sudden foreign interest in this story over the past week as it became clearer and clearer that this was a dead heat and the possibility that the yes side could win on the evening. Some of that interest, of course, in France, in Paris tonight, and Montreal red. That's where the no vote is tonight. Everywhere else geographically, most everywhere else is blue, and it is the yes side. But here we said, as we were saying earlier in the evening, Montreal both started to roll in at a roughly a 2/3, 1/3 split in favor of the no side. That shows you where the no side is making their edge tonight overall. It also showed still one riding to hear from on the east side end of Montreal, which is a traditionally yes side area, even though the no side has done well on the east end of Montreal. And Jason, that's one of the reasons why we're not going to say numerically make our projection yet, even with closing in on 90% of the polls. It looks like the no side will have the advantage overall in numbers at the end of the evening, but we're still not going to make a firm projection on that yet. We may well have to wait for the very last told to report. Wesson starts to inch out as they closer gets to the 100% of the polls, a lead which may well be insurmountable at this point in terms of votes. A little more than 30,000 votes in favor of the no side right now, but as you see, it's so close that at a certain point in the evening, as we've said all along, obviously the yes side, if they can knock it over 50%, they will be celebrating quite a bit inside. But they're very close to it now, but it looks like the no side's going to end up winning overall on the evening. And no side headquarters, Terence McKenna is with us. Terence?
To continue to show that Canada doesn't work. This is another question that Jean Chrétien will have to face, and very quickly. But that move will be up to Jacques Parizeau and his cabinet, the attitude of the Quebec government.